welcome to a VSA Capital special 5-minute morning miner being recorded from Cape Town with the mining Indaba. It's myself, Andrew Monk, and Ollie O'Donnell, our head of research and equities on the mining space. Hi, Ollie. I think you're up at the mining 1-to-1 as we speak, seeing a few companies. But how's your sort of initial impressions of the event this year?
It's good to be here, Andrew. It's busy up at the junior end of the conference. There's probably 100 or so companies up here, and lots of investors as well, and actually companies that all have money and are ready to go drilling. So I think the next few months could be quite exciting. Certainly, it's a very upbeat Indaba compared to previous years.
Yeah, we'll maybe come back to the companies, but it's a very upbeat Indaba. I mean, some of the things that are different perhaps from last year, other than the fact that everybody seems to be very happy, is there's a lot of new faces who have come down from London who you wouldn't normally see here, who are just what I describe as general investors, but looking to get into the mining space. I think some of the all the lawyers, the brokers, the accountants have sent probably bigger teams. Our team's the same as every year. It's always the three-man team. And the other thing that's quite interesting is there's a lot of Americans around in town. We've been chatting to quite a few of them, and I think there's no question of doubt that the Americans are going to be out there looking for resources to get involved with for quite a few years. They're very serious and they've got a lot of money. The good news is we're speaking to them. In fact, in a fortnight's time, I'm going to be in Washington and then New York before I head up to the PDAC up in Toronto. It's going to keep me obviously pretty busy. We also, for what it's worth, we've had a pretty good weekend of entertainment. Not that that's needed for the 5-minute morning miner, but we had a great paddle tournament with 24 players, a great walk-up Table Mountain with about 37 guests, and our party on Sunday night had about 600 guests. So it's been pretty busy already. And what is also interesting is this year, certainly I've been talking to people who said, Andrew, if you've got deals, I want in on them. There's deal making being done down here. But let's have a look at a chat about a few companies maybe we've seen, Ollie. Any one in particular that's caught your eye?
Well, just the sort of general point first is we're in such a different commodity environment to what we have been in previous years. And even if you do get some pullback with volatility, actually the producers are making so much more money than they ever have done that they're genuinely looking at rebuilding their development pipelines and exploration pipelines. So for the first time in a while, the M&A cycle is back. And so that means I think it's not just about trying to guess which commodity prices are going to spike up next. I think you can also start to take different types of risk with earlier stage companies, because that is really where the value in this industry is created, is with discovery and exploration. And that's where you get the mega returns. It's not just a levered return on the commodity price. It's finding a new asset.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's the Lassonde curve for you. For anybody listening who doesn't understand the Lassonde curve, I'm not going to give an explanation on a 5-minute morning miner, but do get in touch with us. I'm happy to explain it. But basically, it tells you that you make a lot of money in exploration. Unfortunately, then you can potentially lose money as you go through the years of pre-production. Until then, when you get into production, you make money again because you're throwing off a lot of cash. You're absolutely right, though, about the people are out here now looking for projects to buy into. They're looking for stocks that maybe haven't already had a huge run. There's a lot of talk about, I mean, at the moment, we've been talking a lot about tungsten across numerous different stocks. I mean, I had a small meeting on Sunday with a big American. I had 3 tungsten miners at it, or people who are involved in 3 tungsten mines. And we had a very interesting conversation there. And actually, he's one of the people who have said, Andrew, I want to meet you when you're in Washington and New York because you understand this and we've got the money. So, yeah, I see things like that. Really, really interesting. We met also, didn't we, Ollie, a really interesting company, Lithium Africa, which I found rather intriguing because they're a sort of spin out of Lithium Americas, Lithium Argentina. They've got Ganfeng backing them. And they're just going around looking for lithium projects across the whole of Africa. In conjunction with Ganfeng, working out whether they're any good or not. And if they are, probably Ganfeng will buy them. If they're not, they'll ditch and go on to another one. And it looked like a really interesting concept. And I think we probably need a bit more of that, don't we?
Yeah, and I think what's interesting about that company is it's changing the business model. So it's not drill, raise money, keep drilling, and keep developing. The Ganfeng connection means that they're not always going to be diluted down and always have a cornerstone when they do need to raise. So it really changes the investment proposition. And obviously, given their experience with those companies you mentioned, they really do understand what to look for at the in the early stage of lithium prospecting.
Yeah, and it's also clearly it's a management team that's been there, done it before, and certainly in Canada, that is really key. When you look at some of these TSX groups, they're sort of groups, and they just do it over and over again. They keep spinning the wheel. We don't really have that as much in certainly in London. You've obviously got London, should we say, in the European range, but or quarter, but it's not as important in London, I'd say. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, that's certainly true.
Yeah. So anything
But
mining
otherwise,
1 to 1 that's caught your eye, Ollie?
well, I mean, the two big themes, and they're not necessarily new to one, but all of the interesting companies seem to be either be in Namibia or Cote d'Ivoire. That's where all the investment is going. They're stable jurisdictions. They have stable fiscal rates, no track record of expropriation, and people feel comfortable operating there because they know what to expect.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would say I agree with you on Namibia, by the way. And of course, you got people like Andrada Mining. I did bump into Anthony last night at a party, um, but that whole sort of copper belt of Namibia, Botswana, Zambia is still very hot to trot, isn't it? There's still a lot of activity to come out of that, I think, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, my top pick of the year, Midnight Sun, are here, and people are getting excited about the results that came out a few weeks ago and will be coming out over the next few months.
Yeah, actually, I'm about to, after I've recorded this, go and be a judge at the Dealmakers Den in the main conference of the African Mining Indaba. Midnight Sun is presenting. I will be completely unbiased. The other one, of course, that the same management team are involved in is Red Sea, and they're presenting as well. Again, I will be completely unbiased. But they're both really, really interesting situations and well worth following. We'll be doing more work on Red Sea probably in the coming few months because obviously it's a sort of sentiment lookalike gold in Egypt. So that's really interesting as well. Okay, anything else you want to make a quick comment on, Ollie?
No, I think once the conference is over, we'll do a roundup and tell you everything we found out.
Yeah, that makes sense. But this was just a little teaser for all our regular 5 Minute Morning Miner listeners. So I hope you found that useful. Hope you found it's a good teaser. And actually, just one final note: I was at the Faskins party last night, and there were a lot of arbitration lawyers there who we had a really good chat with because they did recognise that we actually were one of the sort of leading people following it from an equity market point of view, and they were very interested to hear what I had to say about Panthera Resources and Emmerson, both of which are companies we think will go significantly higher this year. And I'll tell you what, none of them seem to disagree with me. So that was quite pleasing as well. But on that note, yeah, we'll come back with another special towards the end of the week. Thanks, Ollie.
Thanks, Andrew.
This podcast has been produced and edited by VSA Capital. It is intended for information purposes and not as investment advice. The information is intended for recipients who understand the risks associated with equity investments in smaller companies. Please do your own research and do not rely on a single source when making an investment decision. VSA Capital may derive fees from this content and seeks to do business with the companies mentioned.